If we could clear the ring so we can start our AOB show, that would be great. Clear the ring so we can start our AOB show. Thank you. Attention AOB exhibitors. In class 4, break 2 becomes break 1, and break 1 becomes break 2. Charlotte Bulls into the ring. So break 1 becomes break 2, and break 2 comes break 1. I apologize for all this. Just remember, we always go youngest to oldest. All right. We need our all other breeds. Cow calf pair in the ring. If we could move all other cattle out of the way so we can start our AOB show, I would appreciate it. We need Ellie Baker with Mount View Cattle Company with her cow calf. Anybody would like to give out ribbons in the AOB show? I need a ribbon giver outer. Thank you.
Charlotte Bull Show here, guys. What a way to get started here. Super, super high quality March bull calf young ladies brought to us out there today. Love the side profile. When she gets that sucker squared up, he's so square and powerful out of his hip and yet so athletic on the move. I think that one combines a lot of traits, and it'll be interesting and fun to kind of go on with that one in the future there, because he's got so much balance. From the side, you love that center portion of his belly. Yeah, he's got some flank, and he's nice and chiseled up through his chest floor there. Extremely good looking. Nice way to start your bull show.
Donnie, can you go? Yes. I'd like to take this time to reintroduce our judge, Mr. Alan Smith from Caldwell, Texas. He raises purebred Angus cattle. He works for USD Natural Resource. He works for USDA Natural Resource Conservation for the past 20 years. He's judged numerous breeds of cattle all over USA from the county level to the national level. Let's please welcome Mr. Alan Smith.
Results of Class 28 Spring Bull Calves, a single entry by Caitlin Smith, Mr. Mercury.
So in this cow-calf AOB class, we're starting off with a really functional young female that certainly has enough udder development to obviously be doing a nice job with this heifer baby that she's raising. A cow that sure shows a lot of extension, a lot of growth, big long hip kind of a female that maybe if you wanted to change her a little bit when you get right behind her, you might could see a little more width of base. A little more dimension to her rib shape, but still really functional, productive kind of AOB female to start this show off with.
Extremely close pair here, guys, and the fun thing is about this class and some of these smaller classes, you can have really good quality and you can have them really different in how they're built in terms of the makeup and then what they have to offer, what they have to bring to the table in particular. You know, these two guys are vastly different. I'll tell you how I see them. I'm going to land on the one for me, and I'm a futuristic type guy. I forecast these guys into the future of what they're going to be or what I think they're going to be later on. We've got one in terms of balance and symmetry and how he's made and how he's put together. He's not the power bull, he's not the performance bull in the class, but I think he combines, I think he's adequate in terms of performance certainly, but I think he adds so much value in terms of how he's put together, in terms of his presence, in terms of his structural integrity, that angle to his shoulder. He's just a neat made critter. You know, he's one that gives you an awesome look from the side. He hit me there when he come in the ring. The power bull in the class, the performance bull in the class, the stoutness bull in the class is 1 and 2. And you might think, what are you doing putting the bull like that in second? For me, I got to organize him a little bit better than what he is today. We got to clean him up, refine him, and this is just, you know, show ring prettiness, if you will. But we got to clean him up through his chest floor, make him a bit more cleaner up through his brisket there, up through his jawline, to give him a better look from the side profile. From there on back, guys, he's pretty stout. I mean, he is stout from stifle to stifle. He's wide pinned, a lot of center portion to that body shape and rib. I don't know if he's as good in terms of how he's put together from the angle of his pastern up through his hock as the heifer, or the steer, or bull, sorry. I'll get it right here eventually in this class. But from that angle, I got to change his front end, I guess, for me, when you compare these two bulls together. Thank you.
Over on our AOB side, champion cow-calf was exhibited by Ellie Baker, Mount View Cattle Company with Miss Blaze. Now in the ring, we have Class 4, Break 2.
Results of Class 29 Junior Bull Calves. First went to William McGrew with Tara Ruba 2210. Second went to Bob Tibbs with Mr. Ali Baba Dell. Your champion junior bull calf was exhibited by William McGrew, Tara Rubra. Your reserve champion is exhibited by Robert Tibbs, Mr. Ali Bodout.
Attention AOB exhibitors, please make sure you have your right tag number on. Thank you. Angus exhibitors, we are on time to start promptly at 1 p.m. Angus exhibitors, we are on time to promptly start at 1 p.m.
This class of AOB calves, we're going to go ahead and start with the heifer. Just has a little more in terms of depth in her lower 1/3. Heifer that when she gets out on the move, maybe flexes off and reaches a little looser in her spine. Heifer that's certainly adequate in terms of her angle to her shoulder and certainly possesses enough femininity up to her front 1/3. The heifer next in line not cooperating real well today for the young lady, but certainly a nice heifer. Really straight lined, attractive heifer. Maybe just doesn't have the rib shape or rib depth as what we have in the heifer leading off the class.
Folks, I don't care what kind of cattle you breed, what kind of cattle you like. If you like them black, white, black and white, purple, whatever, this is a good bull right here. You got to study this one, and there's so many good things about this guy. I mean, really, really stout-featured bull, but yet he combines a lot of structural integrity. You set that guy into motion, he stays centered. When you watch him walk from behind, he's not outside of himself getting jumbled up or anything. This guy is smooth on the move. He's big and bold in terms of his top, big and bold in terms of his rib shape, explosive out of the black side of his blade there, and really you love how that all flows and works together. Extremely smooth, extremely stout-featured. Way high quality there, guys. And again, I don't care what kind of cattle you like. That's a good bull.
Over on the AOB side, first went to Ellie Baker, Mount View Cattle Company with BRWK Proven Queen. And second went to Ellie Baker, Mount View Cattle. And Dakota Bernard will be moved to the Shorthorn Plus show.
Young lady brought us a bull named Sancho out here in the 2-year-old division. Again, look at him there, guys. From a profile standpoint, super good looking on the side. He's moderately sized, and I like that about him. He's sensibly sized in my mind. He's the size of a good breeding bull should be, I think. And from there, he's athletic. You know, sometimes when you get these bulls this age, they're not as agile as what you need them to be, but he's fresh in his condition. He's athletic and is made. You know, compared to ideal, if we want to square him up ever so slightly, and I'm being picky on him, guys, it's my job to come out here and critique these cattle. But there is so much good in that bull. And again, my sincere compliments to the exhibitor out here. Thank you.
really nice female to lead off this class. I think a heifer that certainly puts it together in a very attractive package. When you get behind her, she doesn't disappoint in terms of her muscle shape. Really goes together nice up through her shoulder. You get her out on the move, she covers her track. Just a really complete kind of heifer to start the class off with. Then the next heifer in line, we're going to go with her. She's just showing a bit more growth here in this particular class compared to the next two heifers. Certainly a really long-sided heifer that's certainly green in her presentation today. Looks like she has a lot of go to her. I think some really positive things. This heifer is going to do nothing but get better as she moves forward. Really sound in terms of her structure. Might change her just a bit out over her tail head, but still a really nice heifer. Next heifer in line, certainly again, a heifer that has some rib shape, some thickness. A heifer that's certainly structurally relatively complete. Just giving up a bit in terms of overall performance in this class, and we're going to end the class with a heifer just not quite the overall mass or muscle shape or rib shape that we have in some of the heifers above her.
Extremely impressive group of bulls out here, guys. Those are ringside. Go ahead and give these Charolais exhibitors a nice round of applause, if you would. These guys are good, and I mean, from that junior calf division all the way through to that senior 2-year-old division, they're good. I hope you can see some similarities of kind of what I prefer. There's certainly some differences here, and when you talk differences in bulls, you know, I think it's important. This is all relative to your own operation. These guys are bred to go out and work and perform in your environment, your operation, whether you're a commercial feeder calf operation, where there are lots of those in this part of the country, or whether you're breeding purebred Charolais cattle to perform at seed stock operations or perform in a show ring. And I think there's options out here for everybody. So you can pick what you like and what would work with your operation. I'm going to go out here and show you the two I like the best. So thank you and congratulations again, guys. Good job.
I was programmed audio only briefly. Yeah. Evan, you wish. You wish you got some over there.
Our grand champion bull was exhibited by Matt Barrowline. Our reserve champion bull was exhibited by Caitlin Smith. Congratulations. Let's do our group classes before we take pictures.
I think in this class, AOBs, you got quite a few differing types. In terms of a female and what I'd be looking for in terms of production for a future brood cow, I'm going to go with a heifer, I think, in terms of femininity. Certainly up through that front 1/3, a heifer that's a little more extended out through her front end. Certainly got more angle to her shoulder than the next two heifers in line. Really green right now in her presentation. I think this heifer will look better as we move through the season, but just really a long-sided heifer that she's not cooperating real well today for the young man, but I think if she would loosen up with her head and move out, certainly in terms of her structure, she certainly gives the appearance that she would cover her track and move out with the flexibility and that we liked in terms of creating the longevity that we need in our young brood cows that we're going to use as replacements down the road. The next two heifers in line, I think, very similar in their type and kind. I think structurally the heifer that's leading off here in second, I think has an advantage over the next heifer in terms of up through her front end. She lays back a bit nicer through that shoulder region, and you can see it when you put them out on the move. The heifer in third, just a bit straighter up through that front end, gets a little tighter and a little more restricted in her movement. Maybe not quite the lower 1/3 that we have in the heifer in second, on the heifer we have here in third. Then the next heifer in line, probably in terms of frame size, more closely matches the heifer we led the class with, but she tends to get under herself a little bit on her hind legs when she moves, and brings herself up in that top. Gets a little tighter and more restricted in her movement, but still heifer very feminine up through her front end. Next two heifers we have in line here, the white heifer giving up a bit at both ends in terms of width of base and width up through the center of her round when you get behind her, maybe a little flatter rib than some of the heifers just ahead of her. And the heifer we're going to end the class with, certainly appreciate her for her natural muscle shape. It just gets out horsed in this class in terms of overall performance to this point in her life.
Okay, results on the AOB side. Class 5 Junior Heifer Calves. First to Grady McGrew, Gypsy Creek Ranch, by GRC Beautiful. Second to Charles O'Boyle with Miss Gemma. Third to Cade Griffin with Griffin Hill Bella. Fourth to Ellie Baker with BRWK Cali. Fifth to Bill McGrew, Tara Ruba Gypsy Rose. And sixth to Carly Black with BVF Miss Bluebell. Now in the class we have our champion junior heifer class.
Results of Class 54 Senior Get of Sire. First went to Naomi Farmer. Class 55 Junior Get of Sire. First went to Kevin Stahl. Second to Matt Bauerlein. Third to Bob Tibbs. And fourth to Naomi Farmer. Class 56 first went to Kevin Stahl. Second to Matt Bauerlein. And third to Naomi Farmer.
Nice heifer in this single entry class. Certainly a heifer that has some bone to her. In my country, as we were talking here, she might have a little trouble in terms of heat tolerance with the amount of hair that she has, but up here I'm sure she'd be fine. A really nice heifer in this class.
Angus exhibitors, here's a little time update. We're going to push you to 1:15. We're on our last class of Charolais right now, and we'll need to move them out.
Our champion junior heifer calf was exhibited by Emily Campbell with Foxy. Our reserve champion was exhibited by Grady McGrew with GRC Beautiful. Now in the ring we have, and first went to Class 8 was added. First went to Casey Turner. Now in the ring we have Class 9 early senior heifer calves.
Can I announce the exhibitor? Results of Class 56, Breeder's Best 5 Head. First went to Matt Bauerlein, second to Bob Tibbs, and third to Naomi Farmer. Your premier breeder is Matt Bauerlein. Your also premier exhibitor is also Matt Bauerlein. That's the conclusion of our Charolais show.
Thank you very much for the Charolais show. We'll take about a 10-minute picture break, and then we will move right into the Angus show. Angus exhibitors, start bringing your cow calves up in 5 minutes.
Really a nice broody female to start this class off with that I like a lot. Heifer that's showing you a lot of rib shape and depth. Really nice up to her front 1/3. When she gets out on a move, just a nice free moving, really flexible in that spine. Heifer that covers her track, really square at all 4 corners, and certainly got some width of base at all 4 corners. I get behind her and I'm not disappointed in terms of the shape to her muscle and shape to her rib down her top. Just a really complete heifer that I like quite a bit in this class. The next heifer in line, giving up a bit in terms of performance to the heifer just below her, but I think in terms of her structure, heifer that's really sound in her movement, really like the way her feet placement is, the angle to her shoulder, really an attractive female, super well presented, certainly for her breed type, a female that I'm sure will be competitive down the way, but just a really complete heifer, just giving up quite a bit in terms of performance, length of side to the heifer just ahead of her. And the heifer that we're going to end the class with, heifer just in terms of her structural design, maybe I'd like to change a few things about her, but you certainly need to appreciate her for her length of side, and certainly has some natural muscle and rib shape to her, just not quite in terms of her structural design, not quite put together like the two heifers just ahead of her.
Angus exhibitors in the barn, we're ready to start your show. Angus cow calves to the ring. Angus cow calves. Angus exhibitors, bring that pair of cow calves in here. Angus cow calves in the ring. Don't stand there looking, girls. Bring them in here. Ladies and gentlemen, the ringside, on behalf of the officers and directors and management of the Maryland State Fair, we'd like to welcome you to our 141st edition of the Maryland State Fair. In the east end of our arena is our Aberdeen Angus cattle show, and in the west is all other breeds, which encompass several breeds who do not have the numbers to have their own special show, so they're all combined to what we call AOBs. We hope you enjoy this afternoon here at the Maryland State Fair. See the many agriculture exhibits that produce your wholesome food, milk, and beef.
Over on our AOB side, results are from Class 9 early senior heifer calves. First went to Rough Water Cattle Company with KJS Something About Joe. Second went to Howling Springs Farm, Creek Run Silver Glass. And third went to 80 Acres with AASC Corilla's Brilliance. Our champion senior heifer calf was exhibited by Rough Water Cattle. KJ has something to talk about. And our reserve was exhibited by Howling Springs Farm, Creek Run Silver Glass. Now in the ring on our AOB side, we have late summer yearling Heifer.
Really an awesome way here, folks, to start your Angus show. And, you know, for the Angus breed is one that's near and dear to my heart. That's where I got my junior start. And this cow-calf division, this is what the breed's known for, guys, to put maternal strength out there. And I think we've got an extremely good representative here in these 2-year-olds that we've got out here in your Angus division, in particular the one we're going to lead off with. One that that cow right there, just such an awesome presence to her. When the young lady gets her set up, it's just so nice and elegant in her look and her design. She's so smooth and fluid in her movement, and really an ideal udder placement there on that really nice 2-year-old. Got a strong heifer calf on her, and we got another high-quality pair here in second. Another 2-year-old pair with a stout bull calf on the side. I just felt like the udder quality and overall presence there, the female that we started with, was too much to overpower there. But again, we've got a high-quality female, high-quality pair here we're going to round out our class with here. Congratulations, guys. My compliments to you.
On the AOB side, we have another single entry class, certainly a functional kind of potential brood cow prospect. Certainly looks like she'll make the replacement pen heifer that's structurally not a whole lot wrong with her. When she gets out on the move, she certainly can travel. Maybe not as square out over her hip as ideally I might like to see, but I think adequate in that regard. Certainly a female that could be very useful down the road to any breeding program.
Class 13 on the AOB side, we're missing Cade Griffith with Miss May. Again, on Class 13 on the AOB side, we're missing Cade Griffith. First place on the AOB side, late summer yearling, Class 12, went to Country Acres Farm with Border View Fleetwood Stevie, owned by Lexi Zepp. Now in the ring, we should have Class 13.
Angus exhibitors, we're ready for your spring heifer calves. Angus spring heifer calves in the ring. The first place Angus cow calf was entry number 1050, exhibited by Victoria Meyer of WF Angus in Center Hall, Pennsylvania. Entry 1050 was first. Second was entry 1052, exhibited by Oler Madison of Thurmont, Maryland. And they respectively will be the champion cow calf and reserve. Again, champion cow calf is entry 1050, WF Angus, exhibitor Victoria Meyer of WF Angus in Center Hall, Pennsylvania. And reserve was exhibited by Oler Madison. Spring heifer calves. Victoria Meyer, Madison Oler. Washington Farm, Crystal Sowers. Angus exhibitors, your calf classes are backwards. We're ready for April calves. April Angus heifers. The youngest class first, followed by the next age break, and then the third age break. Apparently they're backwards in your program. Angus exhibitors, the April junior calves are in the ring. The next class will be your March calves. March Angus calves to follow the class that's in the ring.
Big stout heifer to start this class in the AOB. A heifer that certainly combines the depth of forerib and flank, certainly wide based off of both ends. Real boldly sprung and strong female. Adequately feminine up through that front 1/3. Got enough angle to her shoulder that she covers her track out on the move. Just a big, powerful, relatively fault-free kind of a female to win this class that I like quite a bit. The next heifer in line in terms of structure, I think, fits right behind the heifer that leads the class the best. Readily, I will admit that she's not the thicker of the three that are left. The two heifers just behind her probably got a little more center mass than she does. But a heifer is just a bit straighter in her design, you know, a little cleaner up through that front 1/3. After I make the concession on the muscle, I just like her in terms of her structure as you compared to the next two heifers. The heifer in third, again, a heifer that has a more in terms of her center mass of muscle, but a heifer that may be carrying just a bit more than I would consider ideal in terms of her condition at this stage of her life. Heifer that maybe not quite as long-sided as a heifer just ahead of her. If I wanted to change her, I maybe give her a little more angle to that front shoulder and where she can reach a little further on the move, but still really deep, really thick kind of a heifer in third. The heifer we're going to end the class with certainly has some power in terms of her depth of rib and has a really broody look to her. I think certainly would make my replacement pin, but a heifer in terms of her eye peel maybe gets a bit coarser off of both ends when you look at her, a little plainer off her hind leg, but still a really productive, broody looking female.
Angus ring here, guys. Things are starting to get heated up here in your in your junior heifer calves here. These are a young April group of calves here, a trio that we have out here, and three that are exceptional quality. I think they're all different, and I think that's okay. You're going to find some of those types of differences out here in these smaller classes, but what a way to start with. One that's just so elegant to look at, and the young lady does an exceptional job on the halter of that one, getting that one stuck, but I'll be honest, the heifer does a lot of it herself. I mean, she just flows so smooth. As one word to describe that one, if I was going to use one word, it would be smooth. She is elegant, she's correct in terms of her angles from hock to ground, and she is the best in terms of her pastern. I think maybe she's not as expressive in terms of that rib shape and lower body. Lower 1/3 is the heifer in second. The heifer in second from her shoulder back is extremely impressive there. You love the overall dimension and shape that she has. We just got to neaten that one up, I guess. For me, refine her a little bit through her chest floor, make her a little more vertical as she comes out of the top side of her shoulder to give me that better look on the side profile to let her compete with that heifer that won the class. But tremendous cow prospect. Again, love that body symmetry, that heifer in second there. From there back, she's extremely impressive. Again, we just like to neaten her up through her front 1/3 there. She gets just a little cresty there in her neck, not quite as neat through her chest floor. Heifer in third that we concluded class with, when she wants to relax, and out here, she gives you a tremendous look here. She's just fighting that show halter so bad out here. She don't want to be out here. She's not giving me the best look, but there's a lot of quality in that one as well. What a class of trio of Angus females to get your heifer show started. Thank you.
Angus exhibitors, we're now ready for your March calves, Angus March calves. Results of the spring heifer calf class born in February. On your programs, it will show as the second page, class 4. Entry number 1055. Full Day Enterprises Georgina 2208 is first, exhibited by Dustin Douglas of Full Day Enterprise in Westminster, Maryland. Second is entry number 1054, Washington Ms. Frosty 022, exhibited by Washington Farm of Woodbine, Maryland. Third is entry 1053, Washington Pearl 282, also exhibited by Washington Farm. March Angus calves now in the ring.
Over on our AOB side, Class 12, first went to Gabe Zepp with Borderview Fleetwood Stevie. Class 13, first went to Kate Griffith with Miss May. Second went to Ryder McNuck, 80 Acres, KLL CMF Primo. Third went to Carly Black with SS Lola. And fourth went to Isabel Thompson with Cave Miss Betty. Now in the ring, our champion is Kate Griffith with Miss May, and our reserve was Ryder McNutt with KLL CMF Primo. Now in the ring, we should have our April Junior Yearlings. Attention, Shorthorn exhibitors. We are going to push your time out a little bit. I will let you know in a second. We're going to go with 2:30 start time. As of now, no sooner than 2:30 for Shorthorn exhibitors. No sooner than 2:30 start time on Shorthorn exhibitors.
Challenging and interesting class of heifers out here in your Angus side of the ring. We've got some differences here to talk about, folks. We can certainly go through that. Heifer I'm going to lead off with. I'm not saying she's the stoutest one out here. If we're going to change her, that's the first thing I'm going to say. Let's power that one up, pull that one apart. But I think in terms of fluid movement and compelling look from the side, I think that one kind of gravitated toward that one pretty handily. The power heifer, and what if you want one with a little extra punch, here's the heifer in two. She's just really, really not wanting to be a show heifer out here today. And with that, I think that was a disservice to her and a little bit of a detriment out here. I think as those two heifers continue to go through the fall, through next year, I said you could probably, that heifer's going to come up and challenge that heifer there in first. Once this one figures out how to be a show heifer and give me that look that I need from the side, I think there's a lot of quality in that one. That heifer does have that extra punch and power to offer. She's just not wanting to get off those rear two. She's agile. She's not wanting to be in the ring. She's not comfortable out here in the ring to give me what I need out here today, so therefore she's going to be second out here in this class. High-performing heifer out here in third. Here's one in terms of performance. She excels her contemporaries out here. We just, again, getting her to relax out here, cleaning her up through her front 1/3, her chest floor, refining her a little bit there in terms of her neck, her condition. She wants to handle her spine a little tighter. If you look when she goes, she just wants to get up in her top ever so slightly, wants to handle her top just a little tighter than what I would prefer here. And we're still talking about quality heifers here, guys, quality females. Young man that the Cowboy had, he brought us a really good one here that we're going to conclude the class with in fourth, and there's a lot of good of that one there, guys, in terms of cow power and potential. You read that one later on down the road. I love the body shape and rib shape, the squareness in her pins, from hooks to pins there, and really ideal on how she lays that tail head in, but really high quality group of four heifers there in that class. Thank you.
On the AOB side, we got a really nice complete heifer to start this class off. Certainly heifer in terms of her muscle mass, she'd be the most powerful in that regard in these four heifers. Heifer that's probably the longest sided, longest hip. You get behind her, you certainly appreciate the amount of muscle this heifer has in her, but still carrying that muscle in a very feminine package. Certainly appreciate her femininity up through her front 1/3. Heifer that when we put her on the move is certainly adequate in that regard. Just a really complete, nice heifer to start this class off with. The next heifer in line, I certainly appreciate her in terms of her structure. Certainly a heifer that compared to the two heifers below her excels in that regard. Heifer that's real pleasing on the profile, just not the natural muscle shape or rib shape that we have in the heifer just ahead of her, or overall power in terms of length of side, but still a really complete, nice pattern, really attractive, well-presented heifer here in second. The heifer that we're going to come in third with, I think between third and fourth structure is what breaks it. For me, I'd readily admit she's not, in terms of muscle mass, certainly compared to the heifer below her, doesn't have quite the width of base that we see in the heifer we're in the class with, but certainly in terms of her structure, I think as far as her longevity, be a female that'll produce a little longer than the one we have here in the class with. I have some serious issues with the way she's designed up through that front 1/3. She gets a bit bold for me in that lower part of her shoulder, but still a female you need to appreciate the muscle mass and shape that she does possess.
Angus exhibitors, your next class after the one that's in the ring will be Junior Heifer Calves. Angus Fraternity, those of you who are marking your programs, it will show up as Class 4 Spring Heifer Calves in your program. Entry number 1058, Full Day Enterprises Sandy 201, was exhibited by Mr. James Full of Full Day Enterprises in Woodbine, Maryland. Second was entry number 1061, Sleepy Meadow Farm Nellie Express 3012, exhibited by Crystal Stowers and Kay Wagner of Sleepy Meadow Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Third was entry number 1056, WFSYC Phyllis 205, exhibited by Victoria Meyer of WF Angus in Center Hall, Pennsylvania. Fourth was entry 1059, Washington Lass 382, exhibited by Benjamin Wayne Harrison, Brenton Wayne Harrison, and Washington Farm of Woodbine, Maryland. In the ring now,
Tell you what, folks, showing these baby calves this time of year can be a struggle. Again, they're still learning out here. They're still trying and learn and trying to be a show heifer out here. And so many times they get to show halter out them out here. And these first few times they're out away from the farm there, it can be difficult. Especially, evaluating structure and that kind of thing. I mentioned earlier, one of the earlier classes, you take the halters off these things and let them go walk through a small pasture pen. They move so much better and so much natural. Out here, they're fighting the halters so bad at this stage, and that makes it tough, too. But heifer we're going to start the class out with, she's fighting that show halter, and we want to bulk off that front end. When she does get set, get that head up and alert. She gives you an acceptable look from the side. From there back, I love her. I love that body and expression that she has. She's one of the stouter featured heifers that we have out here. She's correct in terms of her hock, flexibility in her hock. When you study her angles there, she's good in her pasture, and love that body shape there and there. Heifer coming out next in second, I felt pushes that one and challenged that one more than any of the other contemporaries that we got out here. I think when you compare them, in particular from that three-quarter view, I think that heifer that we started class with has so much more genuine shape to her and dimension. This is probably the profile heifer. She sets up, and when she gets ready and cocked just like she is there, that neck set is extremely good looking, guys. I love a neck set in that one. That's where the advantage is over that heifer that we started a class with, is that front 1/3. But from there back, I just thought she just gave up a little bit too much in terms of power, in particular when you study out through her hip and foot size and shape there as well. But again, a nice heifer there. Heifer that we're going to start or go with in 3 here in the 3-hole here, way attractive heifer, way good looking in her line and stuff. We just like to make her a little deeper bodied in terms of balance and symmetry to make her compete with those top 2 females there. But that's one, guys. You let that one mature and get some belly shape in that one. Come next summer, I think she's going to be really, really competitive. Young lady's got a nice hair coat on that one there as well. Nicely presented female there as well. Heifer we're going to conclude with, again, we're still talking about good cattle here, guys. There's a lot of practical utility in that one when we talk about cow power and forecasting that one on down the road in terms of brood cow ability and potential there. High-quality class Angus females. My sincere compliments to the exhibitors out there in that class.
Angus exhibitors, we need your first and second place junior heifer calves to select champion and reserve junior heifer.
Kyle Lemon, your class is in the ring for AOB. Kyle Lemon with Dunk Jolene. Kyle Lemon, your class is in the ring. If you're coming, you're getting ready to start judging. Class 18, Chase Harwood. We're waiting for you, Chase Harwood. Attention, all you truck drivers. We have a white GMC Denali, tag number A364884. You are blocking trailers in the trailer lot. Please go move your truck. Again, it's GMC white Denali A364884. Please kindly move your vehicle. It's blocking trailers.
Those of you around the ringside marking your Angus programs, result of Class 5 Junior Heifer Calves are as follows. First was entry 1064. Sleepy Meadow Farm Lady Express 2272, exhibited by Dr. K. Wagner and Crystal Stowers of Sleepy Meadow Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Second was entry 1067, Windsor Manor Sin Else 6, exhibited by Bryce Zepp and Jason Myers of Country Acres Farm in New Windsor, Maryland. Third to entry number 1065, Terra Rubra 2207, exhibited by William McGrew of Terra Rubra Farm LLC in Kemar, Maryland. Fourth to entry 1070, HFA Dakota's Chip, exhibited by Francesca Bologna of Harmony Farm in Mechanicsville, Maryland. In the ring now, our judge will select our junior heifer calf champion and reserve. And then we will begin with late senior heifer calves.
Pull yours out right behind her. Over on the AOB side, I get really excited when I see cattle that really fit what we're trying to do in our program in South Central Texas. And these two females right here really hit the mark for me. I think, in terms of frame size, I try to stay away from talking about frame a whole lot because quality is quality, and I think you have a variation here in frame size with these two heifers, but two extremely high quality heifers when you really start studying them. Really loose and designed pretty much the way we like to design a beef cow female. Really feminine. You can certainly tell they're young ladies waiting to get into production. Really like the heifer we're leading the class off with. I think she excels the heifer just behind her a little bit, especially if you look at them in their heart and forward. I think the heifer's got a little more power right behind her shoulder. A heifer that's certainly, performance-wise is excelling in this class today, but I'm not going to make a big deal about the frame size. It's just the quality, the length of side. I get behind this heifer. I certainly like her through the center of her lower quarter. Heifer that's certainly got a lot of shape and depth of her rib down to her flank and up to her forerib. Just a really complete heifer. I put her out on the move, really flexible in her spine and covers her track really nicely. The heifer, I could probably say pretty much ditto on the heifer that I have here in second. Just a little less of her maybe, but a heifer that's tremendously broody in terms of her depth of rib. Certainly a heifer, when you get behind her, you appreciate her for her width of base off of both ends. As I said, if I'm really nitpicking, right behind her shoulder, maybe not as bold when you compare to the heifer just ahead of her, but still a really feminine, broody, young brood cow prospect. I really, really like this top pair of heifers in this class. The next heifer that comes in line, again, a big, powerful heifer that's got a lot of rib shape to her. Maybe not quite as bold sprung when you get right behind her, but still a female that's certainly going to go out and make a brood cow. In terms of her overall makeup, maybe not quite as attractive up through that front 1/3. Maybe doesn't lay back quite as nice in that shoulder as the two heifers ahead of her, but certainly adequate in that regard. I just like to clean her up maybe in the lower part of her chest there, but still a really powerful female that definitely would make my replacement lot. The next heifer in line, I think the next three heifers are fairly similar. I mean, not as attractive maybe in their overall design, but still have pieces. This heifer here certainly has some width of muscle. Maybe when you see her out on the move, she tends not to set that hind leg down with the same authority as the two heifers above her, but still a really complete heifer, I think, that'll go ahead and make a nice cow. The heifer here coming next, I think, as compared to the heifer just below her, just a little more to her. Again, she gets a little plainer off her hind leg, maybe doesn't flex quite as nicely as the heifers ahead of her. Maybe a tick straighter up through that front shoulder than some of the heifers, and you see it particularly when you get her out on the move. She tends to tighten up in her spine, not quite as loose in her movement, and therefore can't cover her track maybe quite as well. The next heifer that we're in the class with, again, a very useful kind of a female that has some parts that certainly would fit a breeding program, just maybe not as much power and performance in her today in terms of her center mass, in terms of her width of base, as compared to the heifers above her.
Over on the AOB side, results from Class 17. First went to John Crawford with JCRW, Just as Classy. Second to John Crawford with JCRW, Journey. Third to Taylor View Farms with Griffith Hill Bliss. Fourth went to Ellie Baker, Mount View Cattle Company with Jasmine Wish. Fifth went to Cameron Powers, Griffith Hill Vegas. And sixth went to Kylie Shoebrooks with WBR Miss Mary. Now in the ring over on the AOB side, we should have Class 18 in the ring. Once again, Shorthorn exhibitors, we will not start before 2:30. 2:30 Shorthorn exhibitors.
Exceptional trio here, guys, on your Angus side of things. In particular, the one we're going to start out with, that's the lead-off heifer of the class, and she was the second she hit the ring in my mind. Such a good heifer in terms of balance and symmetry, and I love that one. The young lady does an awesome job there. So smooth in her lines and so neat up through her shoulder, head, and front end. Maybe not as actually extended up through her neck, but certainly adequate in terms of length. She handles that neck set very well, and you really love this heifer when you set her in motion, in particular, and how she handles her top. She's adequate when you get behind her. She's got some pin width to her there as well. You love the body depth, and I think relative now to her growth pattern, I think she's where she needs to be. High-performing heifer here that we're going to land on in second. Just not quite the eccentric pieces and parts that we saw in that heifer we're going to lead with. Certainly, Grant, if you want the power female of the group, that's the heifer in two. Compared to the female there in first, we just like to neaten that one up, maybe clean her up there through her navel. Not as tidy, not as in concert, if you will, in terms of her top line and in terms of her hip there. But again, we got two good heifers there leading off in the class. Young man brought us another nice Angus female here that we conclude the class with in third. She's moderately sized, and I certainly don't mind that at all. I don't mind them a little bigger. I don't mind them a little smaller as long as they're made right. And for me, I think she is. She's got some body and shape and balance. Again, we just like to neaten that one up. I give her a little more of those extra pieces, if you will, to make her more competitive with those top-end heifers in that class. Thanks.
Angus exhibitors are ready for your early senior heifer calves. The junior heifer calf champion was entry number 1055, she being Full Day Enterprises Georgina 2208, sired by Coleman Primo out of the Cal Buchanan's Georgiana, exhibited by Dustin Douglas of Full Day Enterprises in Westminster, Maryland. And the reserve, that was the reserve. The junior champion heifer was entry number 1058. Full Day Enterprises Sandy 201. She's sired by Clausen out of Connolly Sandy, exhibited by Full Day Enterprises. Entry 1058 is junior heifer calf champion, and entry 1055 is reserve. Result of the late senior heifer calves, class number 8 in your program, that just left the arena. Entry 1074, Heath Wendy 843, exhibited by Blair Heath of Heath Cattle Company, Cooksville, Maryland, was first. Second was entry 1072, Full Day Enterprises Nellie 129, exhibited by Grant Anthony of Woodbine, Maryland. Third was entry 1073, Windy Ridge Blackbird 21, exhibited by Hayden Hawn of Windy Ridge Acres in Rocky Ridge, Maryland. In the ring now, in the Angus ring, are early senior heifer calves.
On the Angus side, if we could get Class 13 to be making their way to ringside, Class 13 make their way to ringside. Over on our AOB side, first went to John Crawford, Shepherd's View Farm, with JCRW Justice Classy. Second went to John Crawford, Shepherd's View Farm, JRC Journey. Third went to Taylor View Farms with Griffith Hill Bliss. And fourth went to Ellie Baker, Mount View Cattle with Jasmine Wish. I already said that one.
Angus. Early senior heifer calves in the ring. We will select our champion senior heifer calf.
This here gets just an opinion. The red heifer is probably the heifer that's kind of different in this class. So when you really
too. Both these guys are just stout enough. I'm not saying either one of these aren't stout featured. I would probably like to change these two females, both of them, on how they come off their front 1/3. And if you just we started with emotions not. Is she probably as neat and eccentric up to her front 1/3? Probably not as long and neat up to her neck, but that one has a ton of body to offer. Well, tough pair class, or tough class is there with a tough pair on top. Good class. Biggest breeders will now select our senior Heifer Calf champion in reserve. Senior Heifer Calf champion in reserve. Then we will begin our yearling classes with early summer yearlings to follow the division championship. stout feature. He's still mobile. And I think where she gets around this Heifer in second is a little pressure. see here that we get seeing some of those top 2 females in the class. But I think there's, again, that's what we're still talking about good cattle here, both 3 and 4. That's a, place in this class. Good job. Again, this one here isn't one that jumped out and grabbed your attention, but she just does a lot of those little things really, really well. And that one right there is just so good and sensibly sized in terms of her size. She's good in terms of her condition. You know, is she the neatest, wildest front one out here? Absolutely not. That's, I guess, compared, you know, if we're building show heifers, that's probably what I once you get her apart. But, you know, her issue is when you set her in motion, she wants to come up in that top ever so slightly. She gets outside of herself. And she's got the most stuff, if you will, right behind her shoulder. She follows her back. Extremely long bodied, extremely level hip and flexible on the go. I thought she handled it most. Is she the neatest, longest, craziest, wildest, funnest thing you've ever seen? No. And she's probably not the belly grinder out of the group either. And I don't need that. I don't need the extreme pieces here. We can fit them all together in a good package. That's kind of what I'm going for. I think we got to give her the advantage over the Heifer too. Just purely in terms of substance. When you start to evaluate these two, I think they're both adequate in terms of structure, in terms of mobility. I think they're all good there. I thought the Heifer really let off with just had a bit more punch to her, if you will, when you can start to compare these two females here. Young man, you've got a really, really nice set for here in third that I like a great deal. She's practical and more, sensibly sized. We got to reorganize her. She just gets a nickel scoop, and I mean just ever so slightly from that driver's side front end from the point of her shoulder down to her knee, and maybe not. It doesn't keep herself as in concert, if you will, off those rear two as well. But again, you get her parked, love that body shape, love the design. I like how sensibly sliced she is. That's a little bit different compared to those top two females in the class. Coming out next in line, here's one again. You like her a lot when you stop to get her apart. She gets a little quick on the move for me, a little steeper, if you will, on all four sides there. She's carrying plenty of condition there as well for the frame size. We can help her down, help some of that off a little bit. I think she'd do better served. Nice step coming out next in line too. And she is probably a little more adequately conditioned, if you will, for this stage of the game. Not as pretty, not as compelling, if you will, in terms of the total package of some of those Heifers that we saw earlier, but I think we're still talking about high-quality cow prospects. In particular, these last two Heifers that we're going to conclude the class with, we're still talking about really high-quality cattle here, folks, from the Angus side of things. If you talk about maternal strength, maternal ability, what this breed's known for, I think you got two really good ones here as well. None of these Heifers out here deserve to be last. I never felt that at all. I think we've got genuinely really high-quality